I hate things. Okay, let's see. Where to start? I don't want to highlight it. I don't see where to start.
What about that arrow there? What does that mean? That arrow to your left. Oh, share. God.
Maybe we're on. Maybe we're on. Let's see.
It usually has it out.
Okay, where is it? Okay, let's try it now. Hey, yeah.
Hmm?
I got a notification about now, yeah. Okay, not too late. 4 minutes.
Okay. Is it live?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Happy May, everybody. We are a little late starting. YouTube kind of did a little number on us there for a moment, but hope you all are okay with that. The important thing is that we finally got started, didn't we? So welcome to our May live chat. We've got a subject today that is one that is absolutely fascinating and people often take for granted, and that is the subject of shapes. But it's not just shapes by themselves, it's how shapes can change each other, how shapes can change shapes. And you might not have given that any thought, how you have a shape in your composition, and when you do something else, not only does it do something in the area where you've done that something else, but it also changes the shape that you're changes the other shape that's already there in some way or another. So it's going to be a fascinating topic. If you're on board now, let's see, where's the chat? If you're on board, we'd like to see check in with us, members. Of course, I always have to say it every time that the comment section is only open to members, because when we have everybody making comments, it goes so fast that we can't catch the questions. So we had to find a way to limit that, and so we set up the membership to be able to limit that. The membership, I'm tripping on my words today. The membership is once a month. Once a month is $4.99. $4.99 a month is all a membership cost, and for that you get a free video every month. You get to comment in the second. Are we on? Are we live? Okay, I can't see. I can't see the.
Well, it's coming through.
Oh, it's coming through.
Yeah.
Can you show me whether people are coming in yet or not?
I have not been able to find that yet.
Okay. Members, if you're in the chat now, go ahead and let us know that you're there, and tell us where you're from so that we can sort of see how broad our audience is today. I don't see anything coming in on the chat at all.
Oh, there is a lot coming in on the chat.
Okay, I can't see it.
It's just not showing up on our screen.
Oh.
Because of what OBS did.
Oh, okay. Well, Roger's having to get something straightened out over there. We will hopefully we'll be able to see your comments in just a moment. Right now, neither of us can see your comments. But I'm waiting for him to straighten that out, and before I acknowledge your comments when I'm able to see them, let me talk about that just a little bit. For the membership, because a lot of people are really enjoying these free lessons they're getting. The free lessons are each hour-long messages, hour-long lessons that address one topic about composing paintings, and the lessons themselves are exclusively about composing, not necessarily techniques. The techniques that I address are those techniques that you find in our quick tips, the YouTube quick tips on our YouTube channel. But the lessons are something totally different. They're about how we can make composing of our paintings work much better for us. So if you're a member, you're going to get one of those lessons free every month for as long as you're a member. So you get that, and also as I said before, the ability to do live chats. So Roger's still working with the software over there. We're still not able to see what you're saying, and you can see the chats coming in on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all of you, this is really funny because here we're doing the live stream of the broadcast, and all of you can see what's going on, and we can't see what's going on because something's gone screwy with the way YouTube has done something, and we're not quite sure what. But anyway, so I'll keep talking for a moment while Roger's trying to get that straightened out. While I'm talking, let me also remind you of some things that we have going on, and something that you might be interested in. In addition to the lessons that we offer on the website, DianeMize.com, we have the Academy, which has become really, really popular with people. These are full courses. And not only are they full courses, but they're each courses that you can get a certificate once you complete them. And those are found on DianeMizeAcademy.com. There's two different websites. And something for people that can be confusing, but just remember that the lessons are DianeMize.com and the Academy is DianeMizeAcademy.com. Right now we have on the Academy our newest master course, which is about tertiary colors, and it's a really fascinating course, and we have it half price. So not right now, pardon me, not right now, but go to the Academy sometime and check that out and see if that might not be a course that you're interested in. You take the courses right there on the Academy. You don't have to do a thing. You don't have to download anything. You just take the course right there on the Academy, and it paces you. There are videos. There's video instruction there. There are exercises for you to do after each lesson. Each lesson begins with a video instruction, and then there are lessons for you to do. And then when you do those lessons, and it guides you on to the next lesson and so forth. And then when you finish all those, you get a certificate of achievement from the Academy. So that's one thing we have going on. Something else that I want to remind all of our YouTube people, our subscribers and our members, a number of you are already on the mailing list to receive all our communications. But if you're not on the mailing list to receive our communications, just go to either DianeMize.com or DianeMizeAcademy.com, and in the menu you can click on, I can't remember exactly what it says in the menu, but something indicates that you can be put on our mailing list. Maybe it says get the newsletter or whatever. And there is where you receive all the communications that we send out. Every Saturday, I send out what I call my Saturday morning art thoughts. The Saturday morning art thoughts are my thoughts for that particular week, and it's very short, but it's always something about painting, art. Sometimes it's something sort of philosophical, something having to do with life's adventures and that sort of thing. And then on every Wednesday, we send everybody on our mailing list. We send the YouTube quick tip so that you have all instant access to it from your email. And so you get, and every time we do something new, we announce it on the newsletter. And so I'm going to do something new and different with that mailing list and with that newsletter. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to move everything to Substack, where we'll also be able to provide their ability to make comments. And so that's going to be a combination of free subscription for everything you get right now. And then if you want to up the game a little bit and become a paid subscriber for the newsletter, which will be $5 a month, not very much, that's going to include the ability to communicate with other people, other artists, and also to make comments or to discuss the things I've talked about in the Saturday morning art talks. There'll be some abilities for some live communication there. So we'll tell you more about that later in the future. Now, see, now everything has come up and all these hellos have come in. And I don't know that I won't go down the list. I see so many of them. But thank you, everybody, for checking with us and for being patient with me as I rattled along while Roger was getting everything all straightened out.
Thank Leah for joining.
Leah or Leah, is that it?
Yeah, Sam, yeah.
Leah, Sam. All right, welcome and thank you there for joining. Okay, everybody, it's time now to start. Talking about how shapes change shapes. So as always, what we'll do here is that we will show you a short video I made for you to get some ideas going on in your head and show you how the concept works, so things that we can focus on. And what I like to do during while the video's playing, I like for you, if you have questions to come up while the video is playing, jot those questions down then, and then wait until after the video so we can have a discussion for everybody. So if you ask the question while the video's going, we might miss it. And so we'll have that. Let's see. So grateful to for all Diane does. Well, thank you, Nancy. It's something I thoroughly enjoy doing, as you might be able to tell. Okay, Roger, is everything working over there?
Sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of.
Thank you, Penguin, for the $5 super chat.
All right, Penguin, thanks for the $5 super chat. If you can't hear Roger, you can hear I'm echoing him. All right, let's move along with the video now and get started, and we can then discuss afterwards whatever questions you have about how shapes change shapes. Are you ready, Roger?
Let's go.
Roll it. Did you notice how the value of this disk changed as the value of the negative space changed? Watch this. With the negative space being dark, really, really dark, the disk appears light. But as the negative space shifts in value, so does the disk, and yet only the value of the negative space is changing, and now we feel the disk dark. Now watch how the disk appears smaller in size as I add a larger disk. But as we shrink that disk and make it appear smaller, now our original disk feels larger. Watch this. There's activity going on in the negative space around the disk, but the disk is still dominant.
I want you to watch how it loses that dominance as those values in the negative space get closer to the value of the disk. Let's see how color can change the disk. We see the disk now as blue. It's a low saturation of blue, but if we raise the saturation in the negative space, look how the color changes. It becomes almost neutral. But then, if we begin to add its complement orange to it, watch how the saturation seems to get richer and it becomes bluer. All the way through this exercise, I've used the same size, the same location, and the same color of that disk. But as other things changed around it, negative shapes and positive shapes, we've seen how those changes also changed the disk. Any shape's essential essence is determined by how its edges define it, how its color defines it, how its value defines it, and how its textures define it. Isolated in an empty space, those characteristics won't change. But when in a negative space that has different characteristics, those characteristics can change how we perceive a shape. That's true for negative shapes and positive shapes. For example, when this shed is placed in an environment of colors and values that are similar to its colors and values, we see its essence because its edges and its textures are different. It becomes more meaningful now because the environment has changed, the negative space has changed. But if we change the environment to a different color, even one that's complementary to the color of the shed, we see it more emphasized. Those are two examples, the meaning and the emphasis, of how negative shapes can change positive shapes. Another way the meaning can be changed is placement. In this case, how far the shed is located from the trees. With this placement, we feel the shed is closer to us and the trees are further from us as well as further from the shed. We can change the meaning again by moving the location of the shed further from us and closer to the trees. And now both the shed and the trees feel further from us. Let's make another kind of change here. Let's change the theme of the whole scene. Now the shed is a central character or central player or only player really within this scene of trees and yard. Let's introduce now a conversation between the shed and another positive shape. Now we've changed the emphasis of the shed. We now have the emphasis on the house we've put in, and we've begun a little conversation or a visual path back and forth between the house and the shed. Let's change the location and the size of both buildings or both positive shapes and watch how they change each other when we do that. Now we have totally changed the meaning of the entire composition. Now watch what happens to the shape itself when I take one of the shapes away. Did you notice how the emphasis changes now? We have a total emphasis on the shed. I'm going to do that in reverse for you and show you another interpretation. Watch what happens when I put the house back in and take the shed away. Now the emphasis is more on the house than it was when we had the shed in the scene, whether we had it further back or closer up. Let's put the shed back in now, and let's bring it a little bit closer to us. You see, that places lots of emphasis on the shed with the house now being so further back. But I'm going to make one more change to the shed. although I won't make the change to the shed itself, but I'll make it to the house. Watch this. Did you notice how the white trim around the windows and doors of the shed appear even whiter? That's because your eyes now are moving back and forth between the white of the house and the white trim on the shed, making the white trim on the shed seem even more emphasized. That is an excellent example of how we will change a shape by making a change somewhere other than on the shape itself. In other words, how shapes can change each other. And on that note, let's change the negative space again and watch what happens to both buildings when we make that change. Do you notice now how there's even a stronger emphasis on the house and on the white trim of the barn? You know why that is? Look at it a little closer. The colors in the barn are very much like the colors in the negative space. And so that changes the emphasis on the white, because the white is so much different from all the colors in the entire composition. All this now just scratches the surface of the different ways we can make changes in shapes, not by doing something to the shape itself, but by finding ways around the shapes, either the negative shapes or in other shapes, to make that change happen. And we didn't do anything with texture in this exercise. We really didn't do anything with edges either. We played mainly with sizes and colors, placement, and that sort of thing. But at least it creates an awareness, I hope, and this is a good place to stop and let you ask your questions.
Okie dokie, folks. Isn't it amazing how when you do something to another area of a painting, how it will change what you've already done? Of course, this was not a painting, but it works the same way because it's all visual stuff. And, you know, it works that same way in the world around us. Really, we don't really notice it because we're usually focused on other things in the world around us. But when you can train your eyes to notice when you're in the process of painting, when you can train your eyes to notice when you make a change in one place, how it changes how other things appear in other places, then it enables you to pull the whole painting off together. So I'm glad you liked that video. Now, go ahead now, if you had questions to form while you were watching the video. So here we go, Cheryl. Great. What do you mean by meaning? Okay. Is this in a composition way or a story way or of a painting way? Meaning, if you think about, meaning has several layers of meaning. One kind of meaning will be, for example, when you, in one scene there in the video, pardon me, it's going to be another froggy day. In one scene of the video, you have just the house there. The meaning there is just about the house sitting in that environment. When we pull the other house in, it changed the meaning. So the meaning can be descriptive. A descriptive meaning simply describing is a description of what you're looking at and what is emphasized in what you're looking at. Then, of course, meaning the way you create your painting might suggest another level of meaning beyond what just the descriptive stuff that's there. So, for example, if you're pulling an image in the painting or in the scene, if you pull an image really up close and sit it down, I'll put it maybe towards the bottom of your painting, and then you have other things that appear to be way in the distance. if those other things, say what's in the distance happens to be maybe a riverbed or maybe a river, then that creates another level of meaning about the relationship between the river and the house. Or sometimes, and then you can take that meaning on maybe more to a psychological level. What does psychologically, what does that environment or that relationship of the image in that environment suggest to you? And it might suggest to your viewer something different than it suggests to you. And then, of course, we can take things, a lot of people get more symbolic than that. A lot of people will put symbols in their paintings that have universal meaning. Say the symbol of the cross, for example, for the Christians, Christian religion has a universal meaning. The symbol of the star for the Jewish religion has a universal meaning, that sort of thing. So we have shapes that have universal meaning. So we have the description of the shape, that is, what is that thing, and what environment is it in. And then beyond there may or may not be several other layers of meaning. So that word meaning in painting has a very broad definition. Meaning, as I was using it in this particular thing, had to do more with relationships of images to each other. So that was a good way to start this discussion. Renee says, I wouldn't have thought of the White House making the white of the shed stand out. How about that? Wasn't that interesting how that happened? And a lot of times that goes to show you too, and I said this in the video, but I'll repeat it here, that when we make a change somewhere else, it's going to somehow affect an image we may already have there. And sometimes we might want that to be a way that we would solve a problem. For example, if we were making a painting of that shed, and we felt like that the white of the trim around the windows and the doors was just a little bit too bold and maybe not quite relating, you could say probably the most common thing that a painter might do is just change the color of the trim. You might make it another color, make it brown or black. You know, I said that word brown, I don't usually use that as color, but I'm just talking generically here. However, we see now there's another way of doing it, perhaps another image in there that is that same color, or maybe same color in value. That color being repeated somewhere else will then change the emphasis. When it's repeated somewhere else, that puts an emphasis on wherever that color is. It's something you can try in your painting. It can really make the whole process of painting so much more fun and have so much more excitement for you. If you have a problem child, a problem area in your painting, especially if it's a color area or a value area, rather than changing it on the image, try to look other places around and see, can you put something over there or repeat something from the image into another part of the painting that can cause it to be more emphasized and therefore cause it to have more unity throughout the painting. All right, Elizabeth says, fascinating. When asked why the white of the shed was whiter, is part of it because it's closer to us and therefore more chromatic? It's because it has the strongest contrast. Let's look at the different kinds of contrast that we can have. We can have value contrast, which is the strongest value contrast we can make is the lightest light against the darkest dark. And then we can have a color contrast. And so we know that white itself has no hue in it. Now, if you lean it warm or lean it cool, of course. But even if you just lean it slightly warm, there's not enough hue in it. And so therefore, we could have a hue. In that case, it's a combination of a hue contrast. Actually, it's more of a saturation contrast, where it has no saturation and everything else being saturated to some degree or another in that particular scene, those two things create a strong emphasis on that white. And then when we add the other white over there, it just, because our eyes will move back and forth, it's our eyes that's doing all this stuff. So our eyes are moving back and forth, and the fact that we have that other white image over there, it emphasizes the white of the image in the building. It's fascinating how the eyes work. But what we're doing when we're doing visual communication, when we're doing painting, what we're doing is communicating through our eyes into other people's eyes. And so that's the reason we can do it. That's the reason the whole thing of composition is so fascinating, is because we do all these things through the act of composing. It's not, composing doesn't just mean arranging shapes. Every time you put a brush stroke down on a painting surface, you've already started composing, because you put something there for some people to observe. Next thing you put down creates a relationship. So the eyes respond to there, and so we're responding to the eyes with our visual communication. And so therefore, the way the eyes see what that white is doing against the building versus what the white is doing somewhere else, it causes that little visual jump that the eyes will do back and forth, emphasizing both, but that's the reason the white of the building got whiter. I do tend to ramble when I get excited about these things. Where's the next question?
The blue one?
Oh, Veronica.
It helped a lot.
Oh, helped a lot. All right, wonderful. Let's see. Renee. Another thing that always amazes me is seeing how changing surroundings of one color change another, like the example of the disc. I know it, but just shocked sometimes to see it like that. Yeah. Nancy says, it's easier for me to think of meaning as relationship. Yeah, however it works best to you for interpreting meaning does have to do with relationship. No meaning, nothing can stand alone without relationship to something. It's either relating to an idea or relating to something beside it, or maybe both at the same time. So using the word relationship in connection with meaning, yeah, you're totally on board there. Melissa, how do you start training your eyes to see the possibilities without painting numerous options? You train your eyes to see the possibilities when you paint, when you start your first painting. And I'm going to go on to a little bit of a rant here. When we first start painting, well, we are all painting images, but the focus erroneously becomes erroneous. How did I say that word? Erroneous. Thank you. That attention to image is erroneous if you're only thinking about trying to get the image itself to look like the image. And too often that's where our focus is, therefore our eyes don't get trained to see the other stuff. But you might call it irony, in a way. Irony of the whole thing is when you start looking for the elements. For example, when you start your first painting experience, if you are, in addition to paying attention to how your brush is moving and those kinds of things, which becomes a skill that develops along. But if you are looking at your image, not trying to make it look like it is, but you're looking at the values and what degrees of values you're seeing, where they're located, and if you're looking at the colors within the values, you're looking at the edge, how the edges go of the shapes, as you're looking at which way those edges are tilted. In other words, the visual elements that cause an image to appear the way it does. Every image is composed of visual elements. And when we are painting, every painting we do, if we're paying attention to not trying to get it right, but to observing the elements and making our paint match those, or make our paint strokes and whatever record, I should say, the elements as we see them, it will make the image look like the image. That is the incredible thing. So that when you're trying to make the image look like the image, it it will only work after you do it over and over and over again. But when you train yourself not to look for the image, but to look for what is making that image appear the way it does, that is training yourself. You don't have to do 1,000 paintings. Every painting you do, when you take that attitude, every painting that you do trains your eyes to see these things. And when you're looking at images that way, you'll begin to notice those same things out in the world when you're not in the act of painting. So you think of what are you going to be looking for primarily. Think of what the visual elements are. Make yourself a list of them. There, it's what everything is made of. Everything you see is visually contains value. The value is caused by the way the light and shadow are hitting it. Degrees of value, that's one. Value. Color, it's what the color ranges are. Learn to look for that. And the color has the hue that's in the color. It has how neutral or saturated it is, and then how light or dark it is. So there's two elements, value and color. Another one is the shape itself. And with shape, what are the edges of the shape doing? That's how you find a shape. What are the edges of the shape doing? Where are they going? Are they going in a circular direction in some places? Are they going in a diagonal direction in some places? Are they going horizontal, vertical, combination of things? Learn to see what the edges of the shape are doing. That forms the essence of the outside of the shape, and then learn to see those same edges within the shape. Then there are the textures. The textures that you see right behind me, all the various textures, all those tiny little lights and darks that are clustered up together, and you see that they take on different characteristics. So there's the textures. That's the direction in which those things are moving. So line shape, the sizes, the size comparisons, large or small, those kinds of things. Did I name all the visual? Line is usually included, but line is also direction. And the quality of line becomes also important, but it's more, we give more attention to the line in drawing, in line drawing. But if you just learn how to observe the world around you, just looking for those things within the images you're looking at, instead of trying to make your painting look like the thing it's looking at, making like the thing that you see, that trains you. It trains your eye. With every painting you do, if that's what you're looking for, your eye gets trained more and more and more. Now, that's the kind of rant I often go on a question like that. And if you consider that a little bit of overstatement, I won't even offer an apology. I'll just say, well, that's what you get when you come to me. Okay, I hope that helped. I also want to say, the struggle goes away from painting. When you stop trying to make it look like what it looks like, the struggle goes away. That's a guarantee. I absolutely guarantee it. The struggle goes away. So if you find painting a struggle, that is one way to make it go away. All right, I'll get off that one now. Melissa, I hope that wasn't too much. Cheryl, thank you for the great answer for understanding. That was a wow video. Oh, well, thank you, Cheryl. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again as soon as you post. All of you can do that, when we finish these chats, then they're on our channel, YouTube channel, perpetually. You can watch it as many times as you want to. And if you don't know how to find the channel, if you don't,
you won't be here.
Huh?
Then you won't be here.
No, no, you're on the channel now. Our channel is in the studio art instruction, and when you go to the channel itself, you'll find there all the quick tips. And when you click on live in the menu, you'll see something on there, and you see live, and you see videos, If you click videos, you'll see all the videos we've done. But if you click live, that's where you find all the live chats we've done. So that tells you how to find it. Okay, let's see. Do you have another question there?
Nancy agreed with Cheryl.
Oh, okay. I never thought about placing it. Alana said, I never thought about placing an object in background to make surrounding objects, in this case trees, seem small. Yes, indeed. Smaller without making the tree smaller than you painted. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the way it works. That is another kind of relationship, too. Renee says, exactly what would I have done? Exactly what I would have done. Change the trim color. This is a big deal. So it's more than just balance or a path by inputting some of the same color in different places. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Right. Wonderful, Renee. Can't wait to get to it now, can you? I hope. It is great revealer when you start seeing all these things that can happen as a possibility. It's really a great. It's what gets me. These kind of things is what keeps me excited about painting. I don't think you ever discover everything there is to know about painting. I don't think I ever will. I don't think you ever will either. And that's another thing that keeps me excited, is that I keep discovering things, and most of you probably know kind of how old I am. I'm not telling it right here in front of God and everybody, but it's pretty good long time. All right, Cheryl, just because a shape is closer in the foreground, does it mean our eyes go to it first, or we can
Doesn't mean.
Doesn't. See, let me read that again, Cheryl. So just because a shape is closer in the foreground doesn't mean our eyes go to it first and we can do something else, like make the color a lot in the background if we see the eye move past. Yes, yes. You know, just a perfect example of that. If you can imagine going back to the last part of the video, the little red building there, it's a little red building, it's there, it's red-orange actually, and it's there in fall. When I turned it to a fall environment, and we had it there, the colors really sort of merged. If we switch the shutters colors to another color, say if we tone those shutters down, even if we just tone the value down, or even just we could have picked up any color from the scene itself to make those shutters. But if we put something that's more contrasting like that in the distance, that's where I would go first. No, just because something is up close to you in a painting doesn't mean that you'll see it first. It depends on what the artist does to pull your eye in, that your eye will go to first. Isn't that fascinating too? Okay, let's see what else. Oh, what your no-tan book? Oh, Carol says, wait, I just saw that, Carol, and I had to just give a plug when I saw it. What your no-tan book talks about. Yes, indeed, it is. The no-tan book on Amazon, y'all. Get a copy. You won't regret it. Okay, Renee says, I'm going to remember what you said. Every brushstroke is composing. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's another thing that I've got a gripe about teaching about the idea of composition. Too often we are led to think the composition is only about where we put shapes, and it's not. That's only a very small part of it. It's an important part, the placing of shapes, just shapes themselves. That's a very important part. Oh, but my Lord, it's only a very small part of what we do to compose. And so I think when we begin to think about composing being everything that goes on in the painting, every brush stroke, every point of emphasis, everything we do in the painting is a part of the composing process, then we can really become excited and not just get stuck on just one thing. Okay, you got your composition, now you can start painting. Well, no, you maybe have a composition that you're referring from. I mean, your reference would be composed in a certain way, but you're going to develop a composition from that with everything you do. So, let's see, what else?
Christopher waves hat.
Christopher's weighing high.
Is that from Sweden?
All right. Let's see. I can't imagine. Okay. All these comments are coming in. Your example looks like you need to understand 2-point perspective. I wouldn't think so. Nah. Not. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let me go there. That's Nancy says your example looks like you. Are you talking about the example behind me? You don't have to understand perspective of any kind for understanding how shapes work. Now, using 1-point and 2-point perspective is one way of guiding the eye, or it's one way of doing other things, but it's not a requirement. So just want to clarify that. Okay, Renee loves the book. I am so happy about that. And Elizabeth says ditto. Elizabeth calls it a great book. I don't mind that. Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, you're just giving me praise all over the place. Okay, then Renee plugs the other book too, Finding Freedom to Create. I have to read all these out loud. Y'all are probably able to read it too. But when you watch it, when the people watch the video again, I don't think the chat's included with the video, is it? When it's recorded.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Well, okay, maybe they will see it again. I don't know, but anyway, I couldn't just let that go by. All right, amazing education ability. Your ability to change things and make it important to grasp and mean good. How do you decide? Wait a minute, move your hand. There. Melissa says, how do you decide to move an image to where you see it? How do you decide to move an image to where you see it? How do you decide to move an image to where you see it? Melissa, I'm not sure I really...
Melissa.
Huh? Am I reading it right?
Yeah, it's Melissa.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I read the question right. How do you decide to move an image to where you see it?
You want to change it.
Maybe to change the image. When you are watching what's happening in terms of relationships of things in the painting, I hope I understand your question about. If I don't, you can ask it another way, and I'll try to be clearer. But when you're watching what happens in terms of everything is going on as it's going on in the painting, in terms of its overall balance. I didn't mention balance here because it was not a part of the how shapes change shapes, but balance meaning if you have an image that is very, very large on one side, you need something to balance it on the other side, that sort of thing. Or in terms of visual path, you place images according to how those things relate to each other. If you need to move, if you only move an image if it needs, you only move an image if it needs to be adjusted according to where you have put it in the first place. If it needs, for some reason, some composing reason, if it needs to be moved, then you move it. If it's too far to the edge, and that seems to be causing it to be too overbalanced on that side, then you'd move it inside just a little bit. So there are multiple reasons why you would move an image, but how you decide to move the image or whatever is determined by what's happening. Why do you need to move it? And you don't just jump and say you need to move it. You watch what's going on. So learn about how to balance. How to perceive visual balance, learn how to perceive visual unity when everything is belonging, when everything is united and not chaotic. And those are the two main things. And within those things happen because of the way we place things and order things and that whatever we do in there. But when a painting is well balanced and unified, then it usually means that everything is placed where it should be placed. So how you know that, you don't really try to memorize it for any reason. You watch what's going on. and you'll respond to whatever's happening, and that's how you make the decision. I don't know whether that was answering your question in the way that you intended it, but if it wasn't, ask it again or ask it in another way, and then I'll take another stab at it. All right, let's see what we got going
Elizabeth?
on. Huh? Elizabeth, composition. We are creating an orchestration. Oh, that's great. An orchestrated piece with harmonies and counterpoints. If we think only of placement, then we are playing a single set of notes with no harmony. That's a good one, Elizabeth. I often, of course you folks know this, but those of you that are regulars know that I cannot think of painting without comparing it with music. They are so parallel. Painting and music are so parallel, and in all the different varieties that you might say. But using that word orchestration, we're orchestrating the parts of images as parts, all the visual elements. We're orchestrating all those visual elements in the various things that we do. And I love using that word orchestration with harmonies and counterpoints. Yeah, I love counterpoints too. If y'all don't know, counterpoints are different kinds of things. When something's going in one direction, bring it in another direction, those kinds of things. So the video with two buildings.
From our previous question.
Oh.
Let me see if I can.
What was the previous question?
It was.
There was who was that? Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy. Let's see.
Wow.
Anyway.
Was that long
Okay.
ago?
How we doing? Okay, we're almost out of time, folks.
Let's see.
Any other questions? Are you folks excited about getting onto painting now after we finish this? I hope you will just play with these ideas. I think that's another thing I'd like to do a little rant on. Oh, Adam says I'm a classical composer, and I love. Diane always links it to arts. Well, thank you, Adam. I'm glad to have a kindred spirit in that range, because they are so close. And then Elizabeth said music and philosophy is all in painting and in the arts. Yes, really, there are so many ways that we can find parallels in all the arts, really. Even when I'm reading a novel, I will often find parallels in the way a really, really good author, I'm not talking about these pulp, shouldn't get critical, I suppose. I'm not talking about these modern types that find a formula they always follow every single time. And, you know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the really, really creative authors like Tolkien and that class of author that uses the language, the spoken language, in such a way, it uses it like paint, or uses it like musical notes. And I often find there's so many parallels, and if you go through all the fine arts, and even in science to a way, I won't get deep into that, but there's so many parallels there in how the whole thing works. When something is really, really good and solid and sound, it's working like all these things where it's all universal.
This is Nancy's original question about
Your
2-point
example.
perspective. She was talking about the barn and
Oh, okay, Nancy. Now I see what you're talking about. Actually, not with. You mean to draw the buildings? You need to. Well, you know what? You don't really need 2-point perspective to draw the buildings. All you need to do is to know which way the angles are going, and you can do that. You can learn how to do my little phantom drawing. Have you done the little phantom drawing exercise? Did we have a quick tip of phantom drawing? Don't we?
On what?
Do we have phantom drawing? Don't we have?
I believe so.
I think we do. Yeah, I think we have a quick tip. If we haven't got a quick tip of phantom drawing, we did one of our. Well, actually, we did. We've got 2 of the live streams that were on drawing. Phantom drawing is merely when you hold your finger. Well, you start out phantom drawing, holding your finger in front of you, close one eye, and you let that finger trace the edges. and you're watching which direction they're going. And then you come back, you come to your paper, and you hover over your paper. Let's say you could take your pencil in the air if you wanted to, and come down to the paper, hover over the paper, and make that same thing happen, where you're allowing, just in the air, you're tracing the direction and the length of those angles that you're seeing. And then you let your pencil drop to the paper, and you do the same thing. If you draw it in the air, in front of you with your eyes closed, etc., and then you make those steps of coming and then hovering over the paper without drawing it and doing the same thing. That's phantom. It's allowing your hand to move in the direction and the way that the edges are moving on the image you're looking at. And when you do that, you'll learn how to draw, you learn how to follow the edges of buildings without having to know two-point perspective. People that are perspective devotees will probably get on to me about that. I don't care. What?
Quick tip 491.
All right.
Titled Phantom Drawing.
There we go. Quick tip 491. Phantom drawing, folks. If you want to learn how to phantom draw, it is a game changer, as they say. I guess I'm getting tired of that. Anyway, it really is. As far as making drawing exciting for you, letting you know how easy drawing is when you're approaching it from a point of view of following what your eyes are seeing, is a way of training your eyes to follow, training your hand to follow what your eyes are seeing. We're running over time here?
No.
We're almost running over
We
time.
were 4 minutes late, so.
Oh, yeah, we're 4 minutes late getting started, so it won't matter if we run a couple of minutes over. Okay, let's see. We got another one down there. Oh, there's Renee. What is
Candace.
that? Candace said, it's been a great lesson. I had more than one aha moment. Fantastic, Candace. I love that. Let's see. Renee says, I've done the phantom drawing at times after reading about it in Finding Freedom. Yeah, in the Freedom book, I talk about it. And then we have this quick tip. I even go to it. I've kind of refined the whole process a little bit since I wrote the Freedom book. I wrote that book in about 10 years ago, I guess it's been now. It's been that long? I guess it's been. So I always keep refining the way, the way I can teach things, or trying to find a better way to more smoothly to communicate it to you so it'll be easier for you to learn. And Veronica says, for the first time being on your live chat, it's sure a blessing. Well, thank you, Veronica.
Yes.
I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm so thrilled to hear that, or to read that. Read it and hear myself say it. All right.
RM.
Just passing on to say hello to all. RM.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, my goodness, this has been, you've asked some really good questions today. I hope we didn't miss any, did we?
Just salutations.
Oh, so people saying nice things?
Just ego bumping you.
Oh, ego bump. It doesn't hurt to ego bump me. Why didn't you highlight those so I could see that? All right. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I don't think I told Roger this. We'll have to do next month's chat on the fourth Sunday, too.
Father's Day. Yeah.
Is that Mother's Day?
Due to Father's Day.
Due to Father's Day,
the
third
third.
time. That's right.
We
We already
do the fourth.
discussed that, didn't we? Yes. Okay, folks. So yeah, we'll next month's the June chat will be also on fourth Sunday, and so I will look forward to doing this again and again and again and again. Meanwhile, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, all of you who are in our country, and thank you so much. So bye bye for now.